It is I, Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion on Werewolf the Apocalypse in the World of Darkness. Alright, folks, we were talking about the Umbra, the spirit realm, all the places and things you can do to travel in it. Today, I'm going to start talking to you about spirits. So spirits are, in a way, similar to the beings of our world, the physical realm, though rather built up of physical material. Spirits are just made of that. Spirit, spiritual force. Some of these spirits can be intrinsically linked to things within the physical realm. We can see their similarities. Others, there's no connection whatsoever. They're just strange and alien, and some of them, some spirits you can encounter, are impossible to describe in physical terms, because they are beings of pure spiritual matter and not beings of physical matter. They're nearly impossible for you to quantify in a way that anybody will really understand the words you're saying. Now, spirits themselves have a clear hierarchy. The most powerful spirits create the lesser spirits below them. This in turn does weaken those greater spirits and could possibly reduce them in their sort of hierarchy. But more or less, the things that are below them are then subservient to those that are above them. A hierarchy of the most powerful, standing and going down into the lower powers as you go. This isn't to say there aren't exceptions to this, or expected exceptions. There are said to possibly be some rogue spirits out there. Their existence is something of an argument at times, but these are creatures that exist outside of this normal hierarchy. They aren't subservient to a greater spirit. Most are just patrons of a greater spirit, though. So the greatest spirit of them all, of course, is Gaia, the source of everything, the source of all. Below her is the triad, the triumvirate of the Wyld, the Worm, and the Weaver. Below them is the Celestines, which are beings that could be considered akin to gods themselves in comparison to the powers that they have. Below them are the Incarna, their greatest spirits, their greatest servants, those that directly work for the Celestines. And of course then below there are a few other groups of spirits which are hierarchically put into below these greater and more powerful spirits that we do wish to know and talk about above all. So, let's talk about Gaia. The system of reality and everything we understand begins with Gaia. Everything that is bound together in the territory, in the zone known as the Telerum, is of course of Gaia. Many Gaia will though deny, will refute the evils that do exist within this system, that exist within Gaia, seeing that she is the purity and that the evils came in and infested into her. Whether or not you do believe that the evils are also from Gaia or not is not of importance in the overall scheme of understanding what Gaia truly is and what Gaia represents to the Garu. Gaia is the bringer of all that is alive. She is intrinsically linked to every living creature in every realm that exists, and all living beings are indeed somewhat part of her in that way. She loves all the living beings. They are a manifestation of this love and a manifestation of the glory that is Gaia. But there is also the cycles of life and death. They do exist within Gaia, and death itself should not be something that is terrible. Death oftentimes leads to more life, in a cycle that one leads to the other and are interconnected, and allow for a rebirth of all that are within it. But in some ways, death can be corrupted. We've seen that the clash of the triad, of the Weaver, the Worm, and the Wyld, has caused damage to ripple into Gaia. Their clashing, her greatest of her children, her spirits, has injured her, has damaged her, has brought her harm. Garu rage at the destruction and damage that the forces of the Weaver and the Worm cause to Gaia herself. Their clashing and the clashing of those with the forces of the Wyld cause to injure and destroy her, to weaken Gaia. They worry that the apocalypse is the ultimate sign of destruction and the end of Gaia, and it's something that she might not be able to recover from. And so they fight against the apocalypse. They fight against the forces of the Weaver and the Worm with the hopes of helping, restoring Gaia, of saving Gaia. Now, as I said, below her is the Triad, the forces of the Weaver, the Wyld, and the Worm. These are the greatest of all the spirit beings beyond Gaia. It was the balance of each of their entities, of the energies that they create, which makes up the true energies of the Telarium, of the universe. They are born from Gaia, and their three energies create all that Gaia should see. Collectively, they shape eternity. Eternity exists, but they are the ones that shape it into what we see and represent and understand. Now, at a core level, at the most benevolent level, each of them represents a key aspect of the existence of creatures within, the existence of everything within the realms. Creation, growth, destruction. From when it begins to when it ends, and when it exists in the middle. When it comes to how they are represented more now, though, they oftentimes represent order, chaos, and balance. Though there is much more that these threes do represent now, as they have evolved and become to embody something completely different, as the madness and war between them has intensified. Now let's dive deeper, though, into one of this triad, the Wyld. The Wyld is where everything begins, where creation begins. And though it sounds like it may be chaos incarnate, it is truly not. There is an order, a hand to the chaos, the growth, the creation that exists from the forces of the Wyld. There is understanding to it. Though again, it's not true order per se. It is still not true chaos either. Elemental transmutation is a better way of describing what the Wyld does. It changes one thing to another. A swirling mix of seeming chaos, creating from this, birthing from this. Everything that is alive is possible because of the Wyld. Everything that is alive has a single kernel of the essence, of the spark of the Wyld deep within them. A little core, a little nugget of that energy of the Wyld deep within their core that gives them their existence. And understanding this core, this particle, is something that many creatures seek to do. Many creatures seek to understand their connection and existence when it comes to the Wyld through this connection, through this core, through this element. And whether they do or not, none truly can. It is there, though, to explore, to understand, to deepen. Now, Gaia, though, exists because of the Wyld, first and foremost. That which the Wyld creates, that which the Wyld births. Life itself is what allows Gaia to exist. That is why the Wyld, similar to Gaia, is oftentimes revered by the Garu. Of the Triad, is the one that the Garu truly turn to. Now, that's it for today, though. So I introduced you to spirits. We talked about their hierarchy, and we talked, of course, about today Gaia and the Triad, in particular the Wyld. In the next episode, we're going to dive into the other two members of the Triad, the Weaver and the Worm, and we're then going to talk about the Celestines, and hopefully move into the Incarna next time, talking about the various types of spirits and their levels, and what it means to be a member of this level, kind of defining the abilities and effects of spirits as we move on and try to finish up talking about the spirit realm. But I hope you're having a great day. If you have any great stories from Werewolf the Apocalypse where you dealt with spirits in an interesting manner, especially some higher off spirits, higher in the hierarchy, please leave me know in the comments below. Love to hear your role-playing game stories. Regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.